Happy New Year and welcome to your January 2022 horoscope. My name is Kaylin and today I'm going to be covering the major transits for the month ahead using tropical astrology and the whole sign system. I strongly recommend that you watch your horoscope for your ascendant, sun and moon sign, but having said that, I would start with your ascendant sign if you're only going to watch one today. Now, before I get into your reading, I just wanted to let you know that my 2022 yearly horoscopes are available for purchase. So you can purchase your individual horoscope using the link in the description box below. Once again, I would recommend that you watch for your ascendant, sun and moon sign, but if you're only going to purchase one, I would start with your ascendant sign. So these horoscopes are about an hour and a half in length, but you can also purchase the 12 pack, which is over 18 hours of footage. And now let's dive into your horoscope. Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your January 2022 horoscope. Before I get into your reading today, I just wanted to pull an animal spirit totem card just to see what energies are going to be with you for the month ahead. Okay, we have the starfish. So this tells me that you guys are going to be in the spotlight for something. And even if you are not coming into the spotlight or the limelight, there could be some kind of glow about you and you could be receiving a lot of compliments. And lastly, there may be a new skill or talent that you discover that you're good at that you may want to pursue. Now, on the 19th of December, we saw Venus station retrograde in Capricorn in your second house. And I'm mentioning this because you will be feeling the effects of this for pretty much the whole of January. And that is because Venus will be retrograde in your second house until the 29th/30th of January. So with Venus retrograde here, your pay may be subject to fluctuations, and certainly there may just be some reevaluation going on when it comes to your budgets, what you're spending money on, and how much you feel you are being valued in relationships with your friends as represented by Venus ruling over your 11th house. Now, on the 29th of December, Jupiter re-enters the sign of Pisces in your 4th house. So this is your ruling planet, and every time Jupiter changes signs, you will feel this very, very deeply. So Jupiter will be in Pisces in your 4th house from essentially the very end of 2021 through till the 10th of May. And on the 10th of May, Jupiter will enter the sign of Aries in your 5th house, and then it is going to retrograde back into Pisces at the end of October, and it will be there for a couple of months until right before Christmas. So in a nutshell, Jupiter will spend 6 months in Pisces in your 4th house. Now, the 4th house is connected to property, our living circumstances, our family life, and also our deep psychological foundations. And wherever Jupiter transits, it brings some kind of healing or a blessing. Now, something to bear in mind is that it will be squaring you as a Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So this indicates that you could be stretched beyond what you feel your capacity is. And this could be with regard to purchasing a property, expanding your investment portfolio. This could be about you renovating a property, or you could actually become a parent. But let's go into this a little bit more. So for some of you, you could be moving to a foreign country. And I'm saying this because Jupiter represents travel, and lots of Sagittarius moons and risings actually live in foreign countries. Now, this could see you just renovating your property, you could be adding another level, you could be expanding it, and if you already own your own home, this could be you purchasing an investment property. Now, even if you are renting, this could see you relocating from where you're currently living. Now, on the family front, this could see you expanding your family further. So this could see you becoming a parent for the first time, or if you already have children, you could be having more children. And just remember that this does not need to be biological children. This could be stepchildren, foster children, and adopted children. Now, on a different level, some of you may actually become grandparents. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the 4th house is connected to our lineage. Now, on a different level, this could see some kind of religious ceremony taking place in your 4th house. So maybe you're having a priest come to bless your home. Maybe you're having a baptism in the home or bar mitzvah. Now, on a different level, having Jupiter transit the fourth house can see you coming across some kind of sacred knowledge or wisdom which is connected to your ancestry and your lineage. Now, the fourth house represents your psychological foundation. So this could see you revisiting childhood memories, or this could see you becoming very, very interested in your family tree and in your family history. Now, on the 2nd/3rd of January, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new supermoon at 12 degrees in Capricorn in your second house, and this will be in a wide conjunction with Venus, which will be retrograde at 22 degrees, and Pluto will also be at 25 degrees Capricorn. So the second house in astrology is connected to our finances, our resources, valuables, possessions, and also our own set of values. Now, of course, we always need to look at what the ruler of the new moon or the full moon is doing. So in this instance, we're going to see the new supermoon making an exact semi-sextile to Saturn at 12 degrees in Aquarius in your third house, and we're also going to have Mercury at 0 degrees Aquarius in your third house. So for many of you Aquarians, you will welcome a new stream of income into your life. Now, this could involve some sort of new service that you are offering or new products that you're selling. And I'm saying this because Mercury is in the same sign as the new moon ruler. Now, on a different level, this could see you signing a new contract or entering into some sort of new collaboration with another person. And I'm saying this because Mercury rules over your 7th house, which is Gemini, which represents collaborations, new friendships, and new partnerships. And of course, with this conjunction to Venus, and with Venus ruling over your 6th house, which represents your work, this could see there being a fluctuation in your finances due to your day job. Now, this could see you setting a new financial goal for yourself. And I'm saying this because Venus rules over your 11th house, and the 11th house is connected to our long-term goals and dreams for the future. And the 11th house is also a money house in astrology. Now, the fact that Venus is retrograde here indicates to me that with this new collaboration or a new contract that is coming through for work or a business partnership, this could be something that has been in the works for a while. Or if this is a freshie, well, you may have to renegotiate this down the track thanks to Venus being retrograde. Now, on a different level, this could see you starting some kind of new diet, and this could be something that you've either wanted to do for a very long time, or this could be something that you have tried to initiate before. Now, the fact that the ruler of the new moon is Saturn, and Saturn is making an exact semi-sextile to the new moon, indicates to me that whatever new chapter is starting in your life, there will be some sort of solid foundation there, or there can be a sense of longevity or permanency. So with this fluctuation in your income, I see this as being something which will stick around for a long time to come. Now, on the 14th of January, Mercury will station retrograde in Aquarius at 10 degrees in your third house. So with Mercury being retrograde here, you can experience miscommunications or misunderstandings with friends, clients, co-workers, siblings, relatives, and also you may actually hear back from one of those people if you are no longer in communication with them. So maybe you had a falling out with your sibling or with a friend, or maybe you just finished up at an old job and you haven't heard from your former co-workers since then, and now you're just hearing from them out of the blue. With Mercury being retrograde in your third house, this can see you recommencing some kind of education program that you had pushed the pause button on, or if there was a writing project or a communications project which you had semi-started or which you had just given up on, this can see you returning to that and actually having more success with it this time around. So with that, you could be going back to writing a blog, finishing off a website that you had started building. You may finally finish off an app that you have been developing, or some kind of new technology, or maybe even a new social media platform. And on a different level, with Mercury retrograde in your third house, there can just be a shifting of the goalposts when it comes to deadlines for your work projects. Now, these could be your own work projects that you are working on, or this could be coming from your boss directly. And I'm saying this because Mercury rules over your 10th house, which is Virgo, and this represents an authority figure or your boss or some kind of manager basically saying to you that you need to change what you had already done on a project, or maybe they are bringing the deadline forward, or they could actually be pushing it out. Now, lastly, there may just be a lot of changes with appointments and meetings, so just remember that any meeting which is scheduled during a Mercury retrograde period is likely to experience technological difficulties, breakdowns. You may find that a person no-shows, or maybe you have to cancel the appointment, or someone is late. And I'm speaking from experience here because whenever I have my client meetings scheduled during a retrograde period, something always happens, and that's just something that you have to come to terms with. Now, on the 17th/18th of January, we are going to see a full moon in Cancer take place at 27 degrees in your 8th house. So full moons indicate a chapter coming to a close or a situation reaching its peak. This full moon will actually be in an almost exact opposition with Pluto in Capricorn in your 2nd house, and we're also going to have Venus in a wide opposition with the full moon in Cancer at 13 degrees Capricorn, and of course Venus will be retrograde at this point in time. So when we have a full moon in one of our money houses, this can actually see us receiving some help financially speaking. So on one level, you could be receiving money back from your taxes. You could have someone repay a debt that they owe you. Your significant other or your business partner may receive some kind of lump sum of cash, or there could be an increase in their finances, and this therefore boosts your mutual resources. On a different level though, with this full moon in your 8th house and being opposed Pluto, and both the 8th house and Pluto being connected to secrets, you may actually discover some kind of secret information which you are not meant to know about. Now, the fact that Venus rules over your 6th house, which represents your work, and it rules over your 11th house, which represents your friends, business connections, and older siblings, this secret could be about a co-worker, a friend, or an acquaintance, or a client of yours, or a co-worker of yours. Now, on a different level, with this full moon occurring in your 8th house, this can actually see you being relieved of some kind of addiction, or perhaps you have had an intense fear or a phobia of something, and this opposition to Pluto can actually see you releasing this. And I'm saying this because Pluto rules over your 12th house, which is also connected to fears and addictions, and the 12th house is also connected to self-sabotaging behavior. So perhaps you're having an epiphany when it comes to the ways in which you've been holding yourself back. Maybe you're discovering why, or the root cause as to why you have certain addictions or certain fears or phobias, and this can actually see you moving past these. And with Venus being retrograde and ruling over your 6th house of work, I actually see this as being a very fortuitous thing which will allow you to totally change your life when it comes to your daily habits. Now, on the 18th of January, we're going to see the North Node and the South Node changing signs. So the North Node, otherwise known as Rahu, is going to enter Taurus in your 6th house. And simultaneously, we're going to see the South Node, otherwise known as Ketu, entering Scorpio, which means it will be transiting your 12th house. So the North Node and the South Node will be in Taurus and Scorpio respectively until July in 2023. Now, the last time that we saw the North Node and the South Node in Taurus and Scorpio was 19 years ago. So obviously this doesn't happen very often, and that is because it takes 19 years for the North Node and the South Node to do a full orbit through all 12 signs. The North Node will always bring something new and material to the house that it is transiting. So because the North Node will be transiting your 6th house, which represents your work, your health, and your daily habits and routines, this is going to see a lot of you either changing jobs, changing industries, or there could be some new work projects or work initiatives which fall on your lap. Now, some of you may actually become self-employed during this period of time, and for those of you who are still in the workforce, this could see you hiring new employees. This could see you welcoming a new boss on board, and there could just be new tasks and new responsibilities associated with your day job. So even if you're not changing jobs, departments, companies, etc., this could see you having to become familiar with some sort of new technology or new workplace processes and systems. And maybe this is very hard for you to adjust to, or this technology could be very advanced, or this could basically be something which is very far outside the realm of what you have been doing for work up until this point in time. Now, this could certainly be something which is very progressive and very alternative, and maybe what you were doing for work has some kind of scandal attached to it, or it could be something which is quite taboo, or let's just say cutting edge in terms of the technology that you are using. Now, on the health front, this can see you starting some kind of new diet, or you could be involved with some sort of new workout regime, or maybe you're seeing new doctors or new specialists, or you could be trying a whole different branch of health that you have not previously tried or experimented with. So what I mean by this is maybe you'll be seeing a naturopath for the first time. Maybe you will be having acupuncture done for the first time, or you could be involved with holistic health or Chinese medicine, or something which is very, very different in terms of what you have been doing up until this point. Now, this can see you adopting some sort of new habit or new daily routine. And this could be as simple as you getting up early when previously you would always sleep in. Or maybe you are trying ice baths or cryotherapy or something which is really edgy and out there. Now, on the downside, having the North Node in your 6th house could see you taking on more debt than you can handle. And that is because the 6th house is connected to loans, and the North Node, otherwise known as Rahu, has a very ambitious energy and a very insatiable energy. So perhaps you are taking on some new loans or new debts, and this could be because you are very ambitious about being able to pay them off, or this could be you starting your own business and maybe you're getting a business loan, and maybe you haven't really crunched the numbers properly, and this could be because you're essentially biting off more than you can chew because you are so ambitious that you think that you can service this loan, but you may have some difficulties there. Now, this could see you developing new compulsions when it comes to new routines or new diets or rituals or workout regimes. So just remember that moderation is key, and even if you are doing something which is considered to be healthy by society standards, if you do something in excess, this can lead you to burning out. So the first thing that comes to mind with this is maybe you join a gym and you're going for several hours every single day of the week and you're not allowing yourself to rest. That is one way that this can hypothetically play out in your life. Now, with the South Node transiting your 12th house in Scorpio, this could see you becoming more spiritual, and this could certainly see you honing your intuitive skills or some sort of psychic ability that you have discovered, or maybe that you've always had and you haven't really had time to master this. Now, the South Node carries the energy of being perfectionistic because it is associated with mastery. So you certainly can learn how to master some sort of intuitive ability. And the 12th house is also connected to things like photography, filmography, acting, creative writing. And so for those of you who are involved with the arts or any of those aforementioned industries or professions, especially you Sagittarius suns, you can have a lot of success with these pursuits. Now, the 12th house is connected to self-sabotaging behavior, like I mentioned earlier, and it is also connected to addictions and fears. Now, the South Node, otherwise known as Ketu, dissolves things. So this can actually see some of your addictions being dissolved, or some of your fears and your phobias being dissolved. Now, this can see you detaching from some sort of emotional baggage, and certainly this could see you detaching from some sort of past life experience which you have carried with you into this lifetime, which has led to you experiencing intense fears, phobias, or addictions. Now, the downside of having the South Node in the 12th house can see you becoming a hermit and maybe rejecting all forms of socialization. So this could see you self-isolating, and this could actually be self-imposed. So maybe you are working so much on a creative project or on your spiritual side that you are sort of forgetting to live in the material realm. Now, on the 24th of January, we are going to see Mars entering the sign of Capricorn in your second house. Now, we're also going to have Mercury being retrograde in Capricorn from the 25th of January through till the 3rd of February. And of course, Venus will be retrograde in Capricorn in your second house as well. So essentially, we're seeing this overlap from the 25th of January through till the 29th of January, where we have Mercury and Venus being retrograde in your second house and Mars being there as well. The second house represents your finances, your valuables, your possessions, and it also represents how much you value yourself. So the fact that there is so much planetary energy in your second house indicates that your finances and your resources will be essentially the primary focus for you for the last week of the month. Now, there could be some huge expenses which you need to pay off, and there could certainly be some really big fluctuations in your finances and resources, and you may be moving a lot of money around at this point in time, and certainly you could be reevaluating how much you feel that you are valued in relationships, and especially relationships with your friends, your co-workers, and your clients. And so Sagittarius, that's all I have for you for January 2022. If you'd like to purchase your 2022 yearly horoscope, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box below. And if you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy your month ahead, and I will see you guys next time.